radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. It's 313-778-7600. So the two things I want to talk about today. One is this proposed Highland Park bailout, and the other is the indictment, a very, very quick indictment of a sitting congressman, George Santos. He was indicted and turned himself in, surrendered yesterday, turned himself in to be arraigned on what turned out that once they unsealed it, a 13-count indictment, which charges basically that he sold the voters and the people who contributed political contributions to them, that he sold them a bill of goods, that he lied over and over again in order to collect money, that is campaign contributions that were supposed to be going towards the campaign. And he pocketed a lot of that money. He used it for his own personal expenses, paid credit card fees, traveled, lived the life of luxury. And they also dinged him with the fact that during the time that the government was sending out COVID relief checks and extra changing the definition of who, in fact, was unemployed during the early days of COVID, that he collected unemployment checks while he was still gainfully employed in a receiving a six-figure salary. He probably deserves some of the things he's already admitted. He's already put his foot in his mouth by admitting that he lied to the voters over and over again. Politicians don't generally admit that they lie. They lie on a regular basis. They don't usually admit that they lied to their voters about their background, about where they went to school, where they worked at, who their mama is, whether she's dead or alive. They don't usually admit that kind of stuff. So he's already made their case a little easier for them. But the gray area that nobody should talk about is you're in fact charging a politician with lying, which happens every single day. Politicians lie. They make you promises that they have absolutely no plans to actually carry through on. They will stand there and lie to your face. And this man's being charged with a crime, 13 different counts. The reason that there are 13 is prosecutors do that. They'll throw in a whole bunch of counts that they really and truly are not that concerned about, that they're not really trying to convict you on. You figure if I throw in 13 of them, so what, even if you wind up going to trial, you're not going to wind up beating all 13 counts. You might wind up beating one count, two counts. Let's say you go out on the limb and you beat 10 of the counts at trial. 3 of them is enough to send you to prison. And so the goal is to squeeze him because he's making it look bad, because not only did he lie about everything, he actually admitted that he's lied and he's not leaving, not going out on his own. And there are a whole bunch of other politicians who also have lied and will continue to lie to the nation's public. And they're now walking around saying, oh my God, I'm never going to support him in the future. And everybody keeps going back to this excuse. Every news outlet that I've seen goes back to the excuse. But if he leaves Congress, it's going to upset the balance of power in Congress. I could care less. I could care less. As one of your fellow callers said yesterday about how on earth can we allow Donald Trump to run for office with the background that he's got? Yeah, why do we allow other politicians to do exactly the same thing? 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. The one thing that I want to talk about today that's probably going to be a little bit more controversial than that is the bailout of Highland Park. So, we've been following the tale about the water bill and the fact that the current makeup of the legislature, the Democrats have both houses as well as the governor's office. They included something in the current budget that passed last night. They included something that never would have happened under Republicans. They included, I believe it's $20 or $25 million to wind up being channeled through several government agencies. But the extent of the money, it's meant to help Highland Park with their current dilemma about how on earth are they going to wind up paying this water bill, this $25 million water bill. That a year ago, the folks who were complaining, even good, loyal Democrats out in Macomb County who've been complaining about Highland Park, they're complaining, oh my God, why are we doing this? And we're carrying them and we're doing this, we're doing that. They're giving you the good old argument of, we've heard this argument before, is If I'm white, why am I paying for those black people over there? Why are they costing me money? You know that a year ago, when there were all of these rumblings about how are we going to wind up helping the city of Highland Park, the two folks, Hackle and Candace Miller, both said, you know what? Don't you dare give Highland Park any money. You wind up appropriating any extra money, give it to us. Give it to those of us that have been carrying the load. Now let's think this through. If in fact you are a parent or a member of a family, and you've been carrying the load of other members of the family for the last several years, and they have just not been carrying their own share of the load, when some money is getting ready to come to the family to take care of that family member, you think that it belongs to you? You say, wait a minute, hold on. You giving money. I've been carrying that load for 10 years. Give me that money. Tell me, if you feel that way as a family member, how do you feel about the claims from those good, loyal Democrats out in Macomb County, who, yeah, we already know Macomb County is their own special brand of Democrats, but those office holders in Macomb County who have said, don't give Highland Park any money. Those same people are going to be the ones with their hand out right now that says, wait, you're going to give them money? And here's the real problem about a bailout. This is the part that I know that my position is probably not going to wind up agreeing with some of you, but I've been in Detroit since 1988. Highland Park has had several different emergency managers, or whatever you want to wind up calling them, people who have been appointed, folks who know enough about finance and about municipal finance they've been appointed to try to help turn that city around, to actually step in and put things to right that ship so that when they leave, they can go for the city would be able to go forward on some positive note that, that they should have taken some steps to increase the tax base. Just look at what you can see when you're driving along 75 or when you're driving down the boulevard. A lot of that vacant property that was vacant back in the 90s is now occupied. It was empty when Chrysler packed up and left, but a lot of it is occupied by businesses now. There are people who've actually decided that they're going to set their business up and they're going to move there. We've seen incremental increases among certain parts of the community, as sort of some parts of the business sector in Highland Park, where we can see that maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe things are going to wind up turning around, but they still have this problem. Because understand this, even if there's some benefactor, whether it's the state of Michigan taxpayers or not, who walks over to the city of Highland Park, writes them a check and hands it to them and says, go pay your water bill. Go ahead. Take care of you. Y'all are done. Don't worry about that. There's still a very huge outstanding light bill. There are still other problems that have not been solved. Listen, I know it's not popular position, but at some point in time, you've got to say, what happened in the past happened in the past. Let's write a story about it. Let's build a monument to it, but we've got to move beyond the past. There's got to be, listen, Highland Park, Royal Oak Township, there are other communities that the truth is they need to be absorbed by the surrounding communities. Now, here's the problem. Each of the, and I know that I've been in the room when these discussions were being had about different communities before. The surrounding community said, I'm not absorbing them because they've got this ridiculously large, huge liability out there. And I'm not taking them on, even though there are citizens who deserve to have a better quality of life. They deserve to have smoother streets. They deserve to have all of the things that come with increased public services. There's those communities, and I love some of the office holders in Highland Park, but the truth of the matter is, the city's not yet up to what it should be. There are tons and tons of there's a lot of vacant property in that city that can be put to use. It can be turned around. And here's the thing, talking about it in 2023, been talking about it since the 80s. And it should have been done a very long time ago. That community there should have been steps taken to put that community on the path towards prosperity very long time ago. The citizens deserve it, even when they were down to only 11,000, and now apparently they're down to whatever 6,000 households or something. The citizens deserve it. They deserve the opportunity to have their quality of life improved. And we all know that giving them one $25 million check is not going to do it. It's going to put the fire out for today. But what about tomorrow? What about the other outstanding bills? What about the huge light bill? What about the infrastructure that the city, the improvements that the city desperately, desperately needs? Would it better bailout be step in and actually say, y'all gave it a good run, but the same way we have to close down school systems and sent the students to better schools in this community and other communities, the same way the state stepped in and took over a very large court system in the city of Detroit. The state has to have some political leadership who has the courage to say, thank you so much. We're going to make all effort to show the history of that individual city. But because we care about the citizens in that city, we're going to take some steps that are specifically designed to make sure that that city that has had emergency manager after emergency manager after emergency manager, and then in between the emergency managers, there have been people that have run for office, been elected, and they have not had the tools. They do not have the economic power. The city needs an increased tax base. And they've tried to get it for what, almost 40 years? It's time for the state to step in and say, we're going to fix this once and for all. We're going to merge that city with the surrounding communities. And coupled with that, we're going to give the surrounding communities the financial incentive to wipe out the current debt and set up a plan to push everybody forward so that it's a win-win for the taxpayers, for the who are voters, for all of the citizens of each of the communities that are involved, so that this problem doesn't come up again. What do you think about that? 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. It's 6:13. If I start taking these calls, we are going to, I don't know that you can wind up going to break this early, so let's try one of the callers. Let's see what happens. Let's go to Original Tim. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Now, why would you not cover the Bride family? Did you hear about all the billions and billions of dollars from other countries going to the Biden Foundation?
So when you went off when you went off yesterday, you said that you made a specific point of saying there's this big news is going to wind up coming out of today about Biden. You had this feeling of there's a new day, the sun's going to shine. We finally have the smoking gun. And then the folks at Fox News held a press conference. They put the little red bar at the bottom. We found the smoking gun in terms of the Biden family. And then it's nothing. It has nothing at all to do with Joe Biden, the current president of the United States. Whatever other members of his family has done, it does not rival what Donald Trump's kids have done. Have a great day. I got to go to break. 313-778-7600. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Southfield Councilman Michael Mandelbaum. For the entire month of May, we will remember our African American brothers and sisters who lost their lives in the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Over a century ago, from May 31st to June 1st, a Black Holocaust happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma's Greenwood District, also known as Black Wall Street. This is considered one of the deadliest massacres in American history. This moment in time is brought to you by Southfield Councilman Michael Mandelbaum. WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming on Mondays at 8 p.m. Catch a 2-hour block of Law & Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38. The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads. Have you thought about advertising your business on our 9 10 a.m. Superstation? Our audience is bigger than ever, and your investment will be lower than ever. Find out how you can grow your business. Give us a call during business hours and ask for Henry, 248-357-4566. We will tell your story, and more folks than ever before will come to your door. 248-357-4566. Ask for Henry. The super audience at our 910 Superstation wants to hear about you. Call now. The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Goodpods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station in town.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. I'm waiting. I know that Minister Malik Shabazz has some community activity coming up that he needs to tell us about. And I know that he's going to call in this morning. I see that he's in the station's feed. So, Minister, once you're on the line, we're going to wind up taking you. Until then, let's go to Fidel. Good morning, Fidel. How are you?
I'm all right. How you feeling?
Pretty good. What's on your mind this morning?
Hey, man, first and foremost, man, can't nobody tell me nothing about how I'm born and raised. In saying that, you just proved my point again. You said politicians lie. Not only do they lie and not admit it until they get caught, my black politicians, like Detroit City, Highland Park, they just don't take care of their business. Well before this water, it was the high school, then it was the college, and then it was the hospitals. Like, your state government never helps a majority black city. Even when you got something good, the college was good, the high school was good. They never help you out. Well, how do you help somebody out that always keep messing up decade after decade after decade? And that's just the bottom line. No one wants to touch that. You tell us to vote, and then you just sit here and say the politicians lie, and they don't take care of their business. It just don't make no sense, Kerry. What can you do? Do I get hit in the stomach, or do I get hit in the face? And two, let me elaborate. When you say prosecutors just throw chunk of chunk, that's why a lot of guys that's poor get sentenced, because they don't know that. And I've been in that case several times. A simple argument with a woman turned to 8 counts. I'm talking about felony firearm. I said, I wasn't no gun, man. And what I did was I took it all the way, and they wanted to take it all the way. And the lower courts never threw the lower charges out because that's how corrupt they is. And I just wonder how many people don't know the law, accept that, and that's why they wind up in prison. But people keep going for it. Y'all should continue to do exactly what they do, because they up under the spell, they don't listen, and they just plain out just uneducated. Hey, man, how do you charge somebody when there's not a weapon there, there's not an eyewitness there, and they just keep...
Hold on for Fidel. You brought your old personal criminal situation up dozens of times,
No,
brother. We can't relitigate that on the show. Whether you had a good representation, whether you had horrible representation, I'm not in a position to fix that. Why do you keep bringing that up every single morning as if all of America needs to hear Fidel got wronged in court, y'all? Fidel's got baby mamas that he don't want to wind up having to go to child support for. Fidel got wronged when he got charged with 8 different counts. I didn't know it was 8 counts. Brother, there is nothing we're going to be able to do today that's going to fix what happened to you in criminal court. Have a great morning, Fidel. Thank you so much. Let's go to Fernando. Good morning, Fernando. How are you?
Hey, I've been listening to your last 2 calls, and man, it's been very interesting listening. But
Yeah, that's a good word. Let's say interesting. Go ahead.
It's been extremely interesting. You know, I'm going to try to stay on message, and I appreciate you taking my call. Terry, when I look at Highland Park, I think about the structure of the city, and I also think in a real sense that the state and federal government has not really put forth the effort to bring about the turnaround that Highland Park needs.
You're exactly right. You're right.
Yes, and Terry, that's some very valuable property. Believe it or not, there is some very valuable property in Highland Park.
Brother, I looked at it with some other developers about 2 weeks ago. I know this. Okay.
Absolutely.
And y'all, just so that y'all understand what he's saying about the federal government as well as the state government, the Department of Housing and Urban Development has their own separate Highland Park, Michigan file. They already know there's a long history that they've got. There could have been affordable housing, real affordable housing options built along a full spectrum right there in that city, and it wouldn't look the way it's looked right now. But the federal government was like, yeah, never mind, we ain't gonna do it. He's right. The city had had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, but because of, and I hate to say Fidel was right about this, but because of what has occurred in the past, I'm not saying anything about the current office holders in Highland Park, but because of what has happened in the past, the city has gotten a ridiculous bum rap, and it's time to put all of that crap behind them, not hand out another check, do something real that's going to help the people in that community.
Yes, I concur. However, I also feel too that the citizens of Highland Park deserve better. Those individuals that have paid taxes, those individuals that have bought homes there, they deserve better. And I think a major decision will be made soon, whether or not to annex Highland Park or whether or not to put in another emergency manager. But I truly believe it was a billionaire not too long ago that offered to buy the whole city. Just recently, a billionaire that offered to buy the whole city of Highland Park. And Amazon is not too far away from Highland Park neither.
Amazon's not too far away. And I mean, first of all, hold on. Let's clear one thing up. We cannot put an Amazon facility on every other corner. I know that Amazon's position is they're growing simply because their promise is if you order something, we want to put enough Amazon facilities around so that whatever you order, we've got the products of all of the sellers sitting a couple blocks away. We can get it to you overnight. That's all well and good. I'm happy for that. But I mean, I don't want to see a bunch of communities where, and this is from somebody who does commercial real estate every day. I just don't think that Amazon on this corner and Amazon facility on that one and all these other things that's not going to solve the problems. That's not really helping the community to develop. I mean, Amazon has built some nice, large, amazing facilities within the last 7 years, not even 10, within the last 7 years. And 7 years ago, it was only 1 or 2 communities. And now look at how many places Amazon's got facilities in. But it's not just Amazon. There are other corporations that can come in and add to the tax base in Highland Park. And you can add, but there are other things that Highland Park needs. They need better housing stock. They need real transportation options. They need opportunity. Until Fidel said it a couple of weeks ago, I never knew that there had been a hospital there. But Highland Park citizens are entitled to have all of the same things that people who live out in northern Macomb County in communities that didn't exist 10 years ago. They now have everything that they want within 15 minutes of them. Highland Park citizens deserve the exact same stuff.
I just want to make one last comment. And what I was trying to say, Terry, I didn't say that Amazon would come in to help Highland Park. I was stating that Amazon will come in to help themselves in whatever they needed from Highland Park.
That's a very good idea. I mean, the same way that Ford decided that they're going to come into Courtown, and then now everybody wants to live in Courtown, and the price of the stock of the houses is going up tenfold. Houses that used to be worth $30,000 are now worth $300,000 because Ford came to town. The same thing can happen in Highland Park. You were right.
All right.
You are right. Thanks for getting up this morning and for calling in. Have a great morning. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Let's go to Norm. Good morning, Norman.
Hey, man, what's up, man? I'm surprised you took my call. You haven't been here about a whole year.
Brother, it has not been a whole year. It has not been a whole year. Anyway, good morning, Norm. Come on, what's on your mind today?
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, we've been working real hard on this project here. Just sent the letter off to dealing with the shootings and the DEA and the measuring tool that has been deemed improper, called our NARC score tool that has been used, and we got a response from the senator, and he's going to take a look at it. So we've published a lot in our article, our blog, YouAreWithinTheNorms.com, and we've got we've made a lot of progress here. We've joined up trying to help doctors who we feel have been illegally targeted by the Department of Justice and DEA and our veterans who have not been able to receive health care. So we teamed up and continue to work on this project. It's, we're making some progress.
And for those folks that want to be brought up to speed, tell them again when you're writing your articles where you publish them so they can go look them up again. Give us the website one more time.
It's not YouAreWithinTheNorms.com. YOUAR withinthenorms.com. It's a group of us. It's a group of physicians, anesthesiologists, neurologists, dentists, and myself, pharmacists.
Let's just say Black healthcare professionals.
Well, there's a group of, we're all racist, believe it or not. We're racist. We got Doctors of Courage. We've got the white doctors, black doctors, the Asian doctors, and we've all gotten together and show that that we need to end the war on the drugs. And these policies that are being used right now are simply just are from the Nixon age, and they're used to just target medical health care now, and particularly as it affected Black folk in getting treatment.
All right, I got to go to break. Thanks for calling y'all again. You are within the norms, and they write a lot of articles about healthcare professionals that have been unfairly targeted and they're being treated wrong by the government. You can get all of that information from the website. Thanks for calling, Nora. 313-778-7600. It's 6:30. We got to take the second break of the morning. A very quick break. We'll be right back.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Kickstart your imagination with Audible. Hear celebrity and music memoirs, mysteries, true crime, and more. Audible is the home of storytelling, audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Join the Detroit Association of Black Organizations for the Community Empowerment Speaker Series, featuring former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, as she talks about what we can do to combat racial and economic injustice. The event takes place on Wednesday, May 17th at 6 p.m. at the Bridge Center, located at 9928 Grand River near Livernois. No reservation is needed. safe and secure parking available. For more information, please visit www.navodetroitinc.com.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside a Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, the urban conservative. Listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Okay, now I see Minister Malik Shabazz is in both of the feeds, and he's on the line now. Good morning, Minister. How are you?
Hey, Grand Rising, Brother Kerry. How are you?
Pretty good. So you've got some community activity coming up that it looks like you're going to need some help with. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, well, today, Kerry, and you have blessed us and have came out and spoke at our class. We do a class twice a month at Wayne County Community College District, downtown 4th Street campus. Today is the last day for May, and our special guest speaker is going to be the political director for the State of Michigan National Action Network, Sam Riddle. No stranger to this viewing audience and family. And he's going to do a lecture, and he's going to do a question and answer session. But whether we have a special presenter or not, the focus of this, and I've been given a lot of leeway by Dr. Curtis Ivey. We're focusing on love. We're focusing on respect. We're focusing on communication. Count to 10, count to 20 before you do something. If you're upset, stop, pull out a Bible scripture or something, but don't do the foolishness. And we're helping people with expungement and to find jobs and the services that they need. We are a plug, not the dope plug, but the plug to get out of dope and to become a plumber or a electrician or a bus driver and other jobs. These are very, very good jobs. The point is that we want to offer to our people that they don't have to be slimy, crimey, and grimy to make it. I know that there's that type of sentiment that goes around too often in the hood, but that's not the case. We do have options. We don't have to sell death. We don't have to sell dope. We don't have to rob one another or old people. There are thousands of jobs available inside of Detroit and around Detroit right now. And we try to help people to get plugged into that. And we help them to set up block clubs and just doing all kinds of great things. So today, for those who can attend, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., downtown campus, 4th Street. It's room 261 or 260.
All right. From 11 to 1 today, Wayne County Community College, the downtown campus on 4th Street, room 261 or 262. Come out and meet with Minister Shabazz and other community leaders. And today their group, their speaker is National Action Network Political Director, a former member of the 19 a.m. Superstation family, Sam Brittle. Y'all miss hearing Sam. And it's free. And even, and if I remember the last time I was down there when I came down for your class, even the parking is free. There's no excuse for y'all not coming. Even the parking is free. There's no excuse for you not getting there. If you want information, you need to show up. If you've got information you need to share with members of the community, you need to show up. They give you the room, they give you the place. It's all free, 11 to 1 a day at Wayne County Community College downtown campus on 4th Street. Okay?
And if people got unsolved cases of murder, rape, robbery, whatever, come on down. We want to work with you. We want to help you.
Whatever y'all need, if there's something you need that you have not, if you've gone through regular channels and those channels, everybody has said no, you haven't gotten any justice, you haven't gotten any help, you need to come down and sit down and meet with and talk to Minister Malik Shabazz and his organization, 11 to 1 today, Wayne County Community College downtown campus on 4th Street. Okay?
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, brother. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. If you just tuned in, this morning we had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, but as usual, we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. The first is this cross-dressing, lying current member of Congress who's wanted. Apparently there's an outstanding warrant for check fraud in another country. He wound up being indicted here, even though this man has gone on national TV, admitted over and over again that he's lied about his background. He lied about his mother. He lied about his heritage. He lied about everything. He lied about his income. And he used all of those lies in order to milk the American taxpayer out of millions of dollars. And he even lied to Congress on some of the forms that he filed as a member of Congress. Well, the Justice Department said, we're not going to sit around and not going to take months and years to wind up getting around to charging you. They charged him yesterday. He was arraigned on 13 counts of fraud that all lead from his lies. And now the question is, should somebody like that keep going to work every single day, keep having the opportunity to even walk in and cast a vote one way or another on legislation that's going to affect all of us across America? Or should, somebody in leadership stand up and say, man, you got enough problems, go home, we're removing you from all your committees, you're not allowed down on the floor to vote, it's time for them to go? Or are we going to just keep following them around with this little, oh my God, it's going to affect the balance of power. The world's going to explode if the Republicans and Democrats don't have the right numbers. Oh, it's horrible. The sky is falling. Or is it time to actually have somebody actually in leadership stand up and do something? The first thing that I want to talk about. And the second is this, what has been proposed and even passed one part of the legislature in Lansing. They're adding money into the current budget to help out to they don't want to say it's a direct bailout, but it's a bailout for Highland Park's current dilemma that they find themselves in with a $25 million water bill. This is we don't want you to file bankruptcy. We're going to wind up putting some sort of, I'm assuming that at some point they're going to put some sort of strings on it to try to control Highland Park so that they don't wind up, that community doesn't wind up back in the situation that they've been in before. But is another bailout, is another emergency manager. Things that we've tried in that city over and over and over again for at least the last 40 years. It's a time to try something new and say, thank you for everything that's been there before, but it's now time to wind up changing the structure, to merge that city with the surrounding communities, to pay those communities to absorb the liability, and to give somebody to make their small tax base part of a much larger tax base. Tell me what you think. 313-778-7600. Let's talk to Ms. Leona. Good morning, Ms. Leona. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty
How
good.
Are you this beautiful day?
We're always good when we can hear from Ms. Leona in the morning.
Well, enjoy listening to all the different ideas, and then I sometimes listen to what the people say. But on your first question, if they found him guilty and all those lies and things, I think they should just get rid of them, period. Don't keep it there to put a count or anything. And the second question about Highland Park, if they annex to Detroit will absorb all their bills and things. Is that correct?
Yeah, but if in fact it's done right, then Detroit, first of all, let's be clear. Detroit has enough money in their budget to take care of it, but nobody wants to take on somebody's extra liability. Nobody. There's no community anywhere. I mean, again, the citizens in Oakland County have had the same problem for a while with Royal Oak Township. Nobody wants to take on the liability, but at some point, the citizens deserve better than what they currently have. They deserve to have their streets fixed. They deserve to have their garbage picked up, on time. They deserve real transportation options. They deserve to have a police force that has enough numbers and enough members to suppress crime in the community. They deserve all of the things that come with being, citizens and taxpayers in the state of Michigan. But the state has been letting them down over and over and over again. And so if in fact the governor is real this time about actually solving the problem, I don't think just writing a check to them and saying, okay, we're going to pay your water bill for you. All that does is it puts out the current problem, that puts the fire out right now. That doesn't solve the problem down the road.
You're absolutely right. So what would you say they need to do then? Put somebody in that's more responsible, know what they're doing or what? How do they solve the problem then?
I think that the citizens in Highland Park need to become part of the city of Detroit. I believe that the city needs to go ahead and merge. The two cities need to merge. The citizens still are entitled to have a vote. They deserve to have their own city council member. They're also entitled to, try to, if they can, affect who the mayor is in the larger city. I also think that, the governor needs to say, you're not just merging, but we're going to make sure that the city of Detroit has enough money to take over all of the outstanding liabilities that the city has, including not just paying the water bill, but also paying the light bill and everything else that needs to be paid. I've got to go to break. This is the last break of the morning.
I meant when I should have said merge and not annex. I had it backwards.
There you go. All right. Thank you. Have a great morning, Ms. Leona. Thanks for calling in. 313-778-7600. We're taking the last break of the morning. We'll be right back.
910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600 with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy. for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials. And, you know, you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days after taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming on Mondays at 8 p.m. Catch a 2-hour block of Law and Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Curtis. Good morning, Curtis. How are you this morning?
What's up, sir? How you doing today? I want to ask you, try to make it quick. What is the procedure for a city to be taken over by another city? Does the city that's taking it over have to vote? Or does the state just say, "Are we making you do it?" I like you, man.
Listen.
You know, I don't know what you're talking this morning, what you've been smoking, but let me say this. Why does, I don't have a problem with the state bailing them out. They need an emergency manager, but
They've had emergency manager after emergency manager after emergency manager.
or whatever. But Detroit is always bailing out billionaires. Why is Detroit bailing out billionaires? What's the problem? If you're gonna bail out John, bail out Joe. That's all I got to say. Or don't bail out nobody. Okay, you got billionaires with billions of dollars. Somebody built a building downtown there in Hudson site. They stopped building it because the cost overruns and okay, and then all of a sudden we give them more money, our money from the kids, and people say, "Oh no, you're not taking from the kids." Oh, come on. So if you bailing out Joe, why not bail out Mary? I'm saying, I don't have a problem with them being bailed out because we're bailing out billionaires. Oh, we want to build a new city downtown, Detroit City, and we need $800 million. You're bailing them out? What's the problem? We ain't, as an African-American people, we can pay taxes, but we can't get a bailout when everybody else don't pay no taxes and get a bailout? Come on now, come on.
All right, brother, do me a favor, take a breath real quick. Take a breath. First of all, y'all, there is a very specific laid out procedure in the Michigan compiled laws for mergers and annexations of cities that are next door to each other or that have a common boundary. It has happened in other communities. In the last 30 years, it hasn't happened down here, but it has happened in the state of Michigan and other communities. There's actually a state of Michigan boundaries commission that handles all sorts of disputes and things like that. But there is already a laid out procedure in state law to allow this to happen. That's not the question that Curtis really is asking. He's asking, do citizens in the city of Detroit, before they wind up being saddled with extra responsibilities and extra liabilities before they take them on, should they have a vote? Yes, you should have a vote. There's no point. I absolutely positively agree that the question should wind up going to the voters in both communities. The smaller community would you like to merge with the larger community next door? And the larger community should also be allowed that the voters should be asked the exact same question. Should we as a city wind up merging, annexing, taking over the smaller city that has had a history of unfortunate setbacks over the last 50 years? So there's already a law and procedure in place. Yes, the voters should wind up being able to decide whether or not you wind up taking on the extra responsibility or not. If the citizens in the city of Detroit say, we don't want it, nope, y'all keep y'all problems right there within that little 1 square mile. If the citizens don't want it, then I agree that the citizens, at least they should speak. But the point of today's show is to say over and over again, the city has had emergency manager after emergency manager after emergency manager. And between each of those emergency managers, the emergency manager left. The citizens, the folks who founded that city and still happen to be there, I'm not going to say founded, but those very, very, very long term, because Highland Park they don't have it. It's not a transient community. It's a community made up of people that have been there 30, 40, 50 years, and they're not planning to leave. And they are very, very protective of what they have. But the truth is they deserve better than what they have. They should not be in this position where they're sitting there scared about whether or not they all are going to wind up having to absorb a $25 million bill for the water. They deserve better than what they have. And the truth is, what's been tried in the past didn't work. They need an increased tax base, and we need real leadership. Now that we've got the Democrats are in charge of everything there, and they're trying to go about fixing problems, it's time to solve this problem in a way that's going to last, not just write one check, but actually take some real leadership and do something about the fact that the city's been in this position over and over and over again.
Okay, I agree with you 1,000%, but you didn't answer the question. One question. Why is it okay to bail out billionaires?
Brother, you never heard me say it's perfectly all right to bail out the folks, what the city has done, the city of Detroit has done with bailing out, which it's filling in the gap for financing, because the truth of the matter is other communities don't do it. And that's why I'm still trying to, I haven't gotten it together yet, but I want to give my listeners just a short course one day on municipal finance, on state and local government finance, on how it works, because I'm tired of hearing those people who are just want to call in. I mean, I love Keith Johnson a lot, but the truth is when he says stuff like, that money never was going to end up going to the schools, so y'all should not be worrying about that money going to the schools. It's a lie. That taxpayer dollars go to the schools, and when the taxpayer dollars wind up diverted somewhere else, that money doesn't get to the schools, period.
Man, that's all I got to say.
All right. So I'm going to get enough folks together that I don't want you to just hear Carrie's opinion. I want you to hear from experts that will wind up telling you how these situations work and how they're resolved in other cities, that other cities have the same economic toolbox that the city of Detroit has. And there are times that they will help companies who are located. They will help them with some sort of incentives, but they don't give out the sort of incentives that the city of Detroit gives out. There's not in any of the 83 counties in the state of Michigan, nobody else is giving out those sort of incentives. It doesn't happen.
I know, but you understand what I'm saying, though, don't you?
I fully understand what you're saying. Curtis, your frustration is shared by thousands and thousands of people here in the city of Detroit. I agree with you.
Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you. All right, Jerry and New Tim, I'm out of time. I'm not going to get a chance to get to y'all today. Call me tomorrow. You know, I'll be here tomorrow with Keisha. I'm out of time at 6:55. Next up, State Representative Joel Jones. Either he or a member of the foundation will be here to bring you information and inspiration from 7 to 9, followed by Attorney Anthony Adams from 9 to 11, who will be here to talk about politics, culture, and the community. I will be back tomorrow with Keisha, and I'll give y'all a heads up. Monday morning, I'm going to do my own show. Then we'll have the Joel Jones show. And then from 9 to 11, I'm going to be in the studio filling in for Anthony Adams. Only on Monday, y'all. Don't lose your mind. So you'll have 3 hours of me on Monday. All right. Get out and enjoy the weather today. Y'all have a great day. I look forward to talking to each and every one of you on Relationship Friday with Keisha tomorrow morning. Have a great day.